We at Smedley Plumbing do not work with home warranty companies, and we have a very specific reason why. Unfortunately, home warranty companies do a really good job of destroying the customer experience, and then the customer remembers that experience that they had with the plumber.
What?
Ultimately, the home warranty company is the one that created the bad experience, but the plumber was the one they visibly remember in their home and that was there taking care of the issues. And so ultimately, home warranty companies create a condition where we can't look good to the customer. And if we can't have an amazing experience with the customer, we usually don't want an experience at all. I'm a long-held believer that if the only thing that supports a market is the sale of a home, then there's probably no valid reason that thing needs to be on the market. So a prime example of that would be like radon mitigation.
And we have radon coming from below. We have asbestos in the ceilings.
Nobody is really calling a radon mitigation company out of the blue to have their home tested for radon. In other words, the general public does not support that industry. It's not that they're against it, they just don't support it. What's supporting the radon industry is the sale of a home. They put some funny steps in place and oh, you're new buyers of the home, let's make sure you're protected, let's test this new home for radon. Now keep in mind that new buyer of the home didn't have their current home tested for radon. They've never been concerned about radon before in their life. For those that don't know, granite countertops actually emit radon, and you'll actually have some kind of shady radon mitigation companies that'll set their tester right on the granite countertops, and so go figure, the tester showed a positive result for radon. Now we have to install a radon mitigation system to make sure this new home is safe.
You serious?
All of that happens because the seller of the home is paying for it all. The buyer of the home's not paying for that. They wouldn't pay for that. And if the seller of the home refuses to pay for it, well, the buyer's not going to do that. The buyer only does it because the seller's paying for it. Well, home warranties are very, very much the same way. For the exact same insecurities and fears too. You know, we want to make sure you're protected in your new home. And so here is this home warranty company that we recommend you should have, and we can make the seller of the home pay for it.
I got you, homie.
The seller, because they're trying to sell the home as cheap as possible, do you think they're going to buy you a good home warranty? No. They're going to buy you the cheapest home warranty they can. And it's a home warranty. Ultimately it's insurance. Insurance is literally in the game of trying to charge premiums and trying to not pay claims, especially the really cheap ones.
Why are you the way that you are?
Ultimately, what happens is you're the new homeowner and you have this home warranty that you didn't pay for, but you're trying to use it because it has an opportunity to save you money. And so sometimes these home warranty companies will have contracted service providers in your area. Basically, they pay very, very bare minimum wages. They pay these contracted service providers to go make these repairs in the home. Well, that's all fine and good until it comes to plumbing. Home warranty companies are very good about never having contracted service providers for plumbing.
Where the hell is Andy? Where is he, Pam?
And so what happens is if you have a water heater issue or a plumbing issue and you're trying to run it through your home warranty company, you call them up and they're going to be like, oh man, it doesn't look like we have a service provider in your area. But don't worry, you can call any plumber and we'll reimburse your expense. And they try to make it sound like it's a really easy process. The reason they don't have any contracted service provider plumbers in your area is because plumbers all know that home warranty companies are atrocious to work with. They want to pay bare bones minimum wages. They literally want to pay the plumbing company less per hour than we have to pay our plumbers. All plumbers know this, all warranty companies know this, but they're really good about acting surprised when, oh, I just looked in your area and we don't have a service provider. And so they give you that peace of mind line of, oh, you can use any plumber you want and we'll reimburse you. You would go pick any plumber you want, they would do the work, you'd pay the bill, and then you go submit the invoice to the home warranty company, and it does not matter if you used a cheap plumber, a middle of the road plumber or a really expensive plumber. You're going to get the exact same response every time you submit that invoice to the home warranty company. The first thing they're going to ask is they want a parts and labor breakdown of the repair, because in their wonky little computer system, they're only willing to pay this much for parts and they're only willing to pay this much for labor. They act like they have to have that broke down. Well, most plumbing companies don't sell their services based off of parts and labor. Most plumbing companies sell their services just like you buy every other service in town, which is through a flat rate menu price. If you go to McDonald's and you get a number 5 for $7.99, McDonald's isn't going to give you a breakdown of how much is the cola and how much is the fries and how much is the hamburger. It's just, do you want the $7.99 number 5 meal or do you not? Well, plumbers sell their services the same way. A new toilet is X amount of dollars. A new water heater is X amount of dollars. Whether it takes us an hour or 2 hours or 5 hours, it's the menu price. What happens is we submit that price to the homeowner pays us, the homeowner then submits that price to the insurance company, and after they ask for a breakdown parts and labor, they're always going to give you the exact same line. They're always going to say,
"Oh my gosh, I don't know what plumber you used, but they are really expensive."
and they try to act like the plumber is the problem. We already know the plumber's not the problem because they don't have contracted service providers in the area. They're the problem. No plumbers want to work with them. Essentially, they wear you down as a homeowner. They ask you to ask the plumber for a parts and labor breakdown. They ask you to ask the plumber for a better description of what was wrong.
And then when you said you definitely didn't want to have kids, what, reverse back? Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip.
And these are things that happen every time, no matter what. I could write a 4-page monologue, deep diving into the exact cause of the failure, but it doesn't matter. The home warranty company will always reach back out and say,
"Can you give us a little bit more info about what was wrong?"
all they're doing is slowing the process down and they're wearing the homeowner down. Because what they're setting you up for is they're only gonna pay 25 to 50% of your plumber's bill, regardless of what your plumber charged. The reason they start wearing you down and start asking for all of this stuff and dragging the process out is because the more tired they can make you as the homeowner, they know the less money you'll accept later on. And when I say later on, we're talking days and weeks later. They make this process take forever. If they can get you to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and now you're frustrated and everything else, well now, when you had to pay $600 to the plumber and they're only offering you $300, at this point you're like, screw it, I'll take it. Just let's get this done. Our big problem with the home warranty companies is they are really good at one thing. They are very good about making it look like it's the plumber that's the one dragging all of this on. Keep in mind, the plumber showed up, diagnosed your issue, fixed your issue, collected their standard, they didn't overcharge you, they didn't undercharge you, these are their standard charges, and then they moved on, right? The plumber got you taken care of right away. It's the home warranty company that's drugged this out for days and weeks, but as part of their sales training and their customer service training, they always point it back to,
well, if the plumber would have given us a better description, we wouldn't be where we're at. Or if the plumber broke down his invoice, we wouldn't be where we're at. Or if the plumber charged what the other plumbers charge, we wouldn't be where they're at.
and again, they're always giving you some line of like, we pay plumbers hundreds of times every day all over the nation, and this plumber's bill is just crazy. And that's their standard line no matter what the bill is. If one plumber comes in and charges $200 for this repair, they're still following the standard. There's no dollar amount that they're willing to accept. They're an insurance company and they want to pay as little as possible. It has nothing to do with the plumber's bill, and it has everything to do with a customer submitted invoice they're only going to pay half of. And so they have to do this process with everybody just so they only pay half of the invoices. So what we do in our company is we refuse to work with home service companies. We don't do it. We don't work with home warranty companies, period. We work with homeowners, and we make homeowners exceptionally happy. And if there's any question about that, you can check out our Google reviews. There's no doubt that we make homeowners exceptionally happy. However, a home warranty company gets involved, and now the customers start getting upset, and it's at the fault of the home warranty companies. What we'll do is we'll go in and fix the issue, and once our invoice is paid, sometimes we will entertain some clarification conversations with the home warranty company. If they're looking for a more detailed description of what caused the issue. In our original submission on our invoice to the homeowner, not to the home warranty company, if we said we arrived to find a failed water heater, so we replaced the water heater, they might ask a little bit more clarifying questions about how and why did the water heater fail. We know that no matter what we say on the original invoice, they're always going to ask for more information. And I put this to the test. I went to a failed water heater call, and I literally wrote a 1,000-word paragraph. They said, well, we need a little bit more info as to what went wrong. And I called them out on it. And I'm like, are you kidding me that I submitted a 1,000-word paragraph as to what went wrong? How much more info are you looking for? Ultimately, we don't work with home warranty companies because they don't allow for a condition for us to have an incredibly positive and memorable experience with the customer. And that's the whole reason we're in business. We are a 5-star company. Our Google reviews prove that, and home warranty companies only stand to ruin that and destroy that. And so we make the choice not to do that. I've also seen another trend in the area where there are some plumbing companies that were kind of notorious for working with warranty companies. They don't work with them anymore either. And that's always a big red flag. When your home warranty company says we don't have a contracted plumber in your area, that's usually a sign that you're in for a rough ride trying to get reimbursed on this expense. All insurance policies, all warranty policies are proratable and refundable. If your home warranty cost $1,200 and it was a 1-year policy, and 3 months in, you learned that this policy is garbage and they don't cover anything, you can demand a refund on the home warranty, and they will prorate it out, usually pretty even terms. So if it was a $1,200 policy or 3 months in, you might get $900 back. And they all have to be that way by the federal government. Anybody that's been scorned by a home warranty company and they've left a bad taste in their mouth, I would just call them up and demand a refund on the policy and get as much money back as you can. Ultimately, you're always going to be better off taking the money that you would normally spend on a home warranty and putting it in the bank, and then using that money to pay for household repairs. Home warranty companies are out there for profit. And so if you're spending $1,200 a year on a home warranty policy, they're planning on only spending $600 a year on warranty claims at your house. So if you took that $1,200 and put it into the bank, you could probably realistically save quite a bit of money by just using your own money for home repairs. Just something to keep in mind, but that also explains why not only our company, but most plumbing companies refuse to work with home warranty companies.